When we last left Jamie in Season 7 Episode 7, he was dead, or in other words, comatose, on the battlefield. Turning Point starts up pretty much exactly where we left off. The mother and her son, who are scavengers, go through his belongings, but are scared off when Claire, Katrina Balfe, waving a sword, appears. She learns that her darling spouse only had small hand wounds, and that with a little bandaging, he will be good as new. What happened in Outlander Season 7 Episode 8 recap? The episode opens with Claire discovering Jamie, wounded from the First Battle of Saratoga, on the battlefield. She scolds him for risking his life without thinking about her as she tends to his injury. Roger tells Brianna Bree Fraser Mackenzie of the 20th century that Rob Cameron kidnapped their son and went back in time through the stones. He packs his bags and gets ready to go back in time, but Buck stops him. While gathering some medicinal bark, Claire is approached by Major General Benedict Arnold. After meeting with Arnold, Claire tells Jamie that he would leave the rebel cause and join the British Army, so making the way for the American forces to win. Jamie and the other riflemen, led by Arnold, attack the British Army led by Simon Fraser, starting the next fight of Saratoga. Jamie turns down Arnold's request to kill his cousin Simon, and instead fires randomly, hitting William's hat. Meanwhile, a second rifleman shoots at Simon. When Simon is wounded, the British Army gives up, but the rebels quickly catch up and start devastating attacks. The second fight is clearly won by the American forces, and the remaining British soldiers officially give up. Simon hopes to finally see his cousin Jamie after the fight. When Jamie and Claire pay their respects to the dying soldier, they are joined by their cousins, the Frasers, who remember their boyhood friendship. Soon after Jamie meets Simon, she runs into William. He tells his kid, who has no idea who his father is, that he was the guy with the rifle who shot at them, and then tips his hat to the other man for standing his ground. William takes the hat and puts it on. When young Ian starts talking to and kissing Rachel Hunter without her okay, she slaps him. Despite the similarities, they treat each other kindly. After Ian tells Rachel he loves her, she talks about it with her brother Denzel Hunter, who is against the couple getting married since he is aggressive and Rachel is a Quaker. Claire and Jamie have finally made it to Scotland. After Simon died, his British co-workers told Jamie's bosses they wanted to honor his last wish and bury him in Britain. The British carried out Simon's wish in their agreeing to give up, and so one of Jamie's commanders asked him if he would be willing to take his cousin's body to Scotland. Jamie agrees to take his cousin's body to Scotland, so he, Claire, and Ian get on a British ship and go north. Jamie is forced to join the rebels, despite his original wish to run to Scotland to stay out of it. However, he changes his mind and stays with the American forces rather than going back to his own country. After his force duty is over, he will keep standing up for his mates because he's scared of the huge British forces. After the events of the Battle of Saratoga, it's likely that Jamie will change his mind again. Jamie is almost killed and leaves Claire behind in the first fight. In the second fight, he almost shoots and kills his own son, William. It's clear Jamie has put his family first over his duties to the army. Moreover, Jamie has a promise to keep, and that is to bring his nephew Ian back to his sister. The trip also lets him do what one of his relatives who died fighting bravely wanted. When Jemmy is kidnapped by Rob, his father Roger and an uncle Buck go to look for him. Jemmy's scarf is found among the stones, which work as doors to the past. This leads them to think that Rob and Jemmy went through the stones into the past looking for Jamie's hidden money. After finding the scarf, Roger and Buck use the stones to go back in time to find Roger's long-lost son. Since Rob probably hasn't gone back in time with Jemmy, it may take some time for Roger and Buck to find the kid in the 18th century. Rob and Jemmy are probably hiding out now in the Outlander books by Diana Gabaldon, from which the show is based. Rob probably has Roger fooled by the scarf at the stones so he can wipe Roger from his own history. He and Jemmy are probably hiding out in the work tunnel until Roger leaves for the 18th century. After Roger travels back in time, Rob comes up to Lallybroch to force Brianna into having Jemmy tell where the gold is. While his mother is faced with a door, Jemmy, who has been tied down in the tunnel, gets on a train and vanishes. Jemmy could run into his dad if he uses the portal to visit the 18th century. Young Ian promises Rachel that he would come back for her and his buddy Rollo when he's done what he needs to in Scotland. Mr. Bug then sees Rachel and Rollo and thinks that Ian must really love Rachel if he would leave his steady friend. Bug plans to get back at Ian by killing someone Ian cares about for the death of Bug's wife. Bug might try to kill Rachel to keep his promise to himself and Ian. However, he could mess up in his try to get rid of Rachel. When Ian goes to Scotland, Bug tries to kill Rachel, but William is there to rescue her in the story by Gabaldon. He fights the old guy off even though he's hit by the axe and defends the lady who saved his life. After Rachel and Ian come back from their visit to Marzali and Fergus, Bug tries again to kill. Rachel is watching Fergus' print shop when Bug bursts in and attacks her. Then, Ian and Rollo get the upper hand on Bug. When William shows up and shoots Bug to save Rachel, everything's sorted out.